One year when I was at summer camp, I went to go pick out my cabin and all of the good ones were taken. So I took the one with windows facing the forest. The first day I had a blast. I was getting ready for bed, and I put my pajamas on, and so were my cabin mates. I get homesick a lot, so I went to bed late, at like 3 in the morning. All my cabin mates were asleep. So I just sat there in silence, but at around 2:30 in the morning, I start hearing scratches at my window. I just thought it was a tree branch, but then I start hearing knocks at the window. They started off quiet and slow, then they would start to get faster and faster and louder, till all of a sudden it goes away. In the morning I tell everyone and only one person believed me, so I thought they just were doing a sick prank. But I don't think that for long. For 3 nights in a row I hear the same thing. But in the last night, night 4, the scratching and knocking start again. These ones go on for 5 minutes, just hunting me. Then they stop, so I think they are gone. But then I hear the lock on our cabin door moving, and then the door opens. I get under my blanket and put my pillow over me and try to make it look like I'm not there. I hear footsteps walking around our cabin. I hear them getting closer to me, and then all of a sudden he stops and is digging through something and does that at every bunk but mine. Then he leaves and locks the door. I wake up in the morning to see that my cabin mates were gone. And it was early, around 6 in the morning, breakfast wasn't out yet, and I look around and my cabin mates are gone, but their shoes were there. And I knew that it was definitely that man. The police did a big investigation and never found the kids. This took place in Wilmington, North Carolina when I was probably around 9 or 10. My sister had been in a relationship for a few years and married to my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is an ex-Marine and had gotten out of the Corps and decided civilian life wasn't for him, so he re-enlisted in the Army. During his year of civilian life, they had started renting a duplex in a cul-de-sac. I was over there every other weekend to either help my sister distract my nephews like the good uncle I was while my sister worked, or staying over for the weekend. But whenever I was over there, I never saw this lady in her neighborhood. But back to the story, my brother-in-law had re-enlisted and was getting ready to get shipped off to MOS training, and of course they were moving in with me and my parents, so a month or so after they moved in with us. She wasn't getting her mail sent to our house, so while we were getting lunch one day, and we were going by the neighborhood, and just decided to drop in to retrieve her mail, and after she did, she called the postal office to remind them about the address change and all that. But then someone approached the front passenger side door while I was watching YouTube and knocked on the window. I obviously got scared and saw an old lady in a pink jacket and wearing a straw hat, kinda like the ones you see in Walmart. And keep in mind this was in the middle of summer on the coast, so it was hotter than balls out, so why was she wearing a jacket? My sister rolled down the window and the lady asked why she was grabbing the mail, and my sister explained she was the former resident and all that, and they engaged in a 15-minute conversation, and during the entire conversation, I felt uncomfortable, like something about her was just off. My eldest nephew was in his car seat sat behind me, and the lady looked at me and my nephew and began talking about how we look so alike and look like her grandkids, and how she takes her grandkids on vacations every year, and how she bought her hat from the Bahamas, and again it looked like a Walmart brand straw hat, and she even asked if I'd like to be her grandkid, which creeped me out even more, and my sister at this point was uncomfortable as well, and made an excuse for us to get going, and the lady would walk off before my sister rolled up my window and got to the middle of the cul-de-sac before she saw the lady sprinting at us. My sister said she was holding something, but I never asked what it was. My sister, of course, burnt rubber and raced out of the neighborhood, and she never did call law enforcement for that. I'm pretty sure she doesn't remember it. The only reason I remember it was because her face when she had came up to my window scared me, and I was reading scary stories and remembered I had one of my own. I don't know if this lady had the intention of taking me and my nephew or killing us, but I never want to find out what she wanted to do. I no longer live in Wilmington anymore, but I'm sure I will never go back to that neighborhood again.